So what I wanted to talk about today was sun gazing. Um, and I wanted to hear from all of you. Have you heard about sun gazing? If yes, what have you heard and what do you know about sun gazing? Has anybody heard about it?
Only from you, Sarika. Like, well, yeah, like in general, very little, but then mainly from you.
Yeah, exactly. From you, and I know your experience had been amazing. I mean, I know you said that that's what where you felt that the oneness, the connection. So yeah, I love that, and I have been wanting to explore it, but uh, not done that so far. But yeah, I would love to learn know more and get motivated enough to do it rather than just keeping it on my to-do list forever.
It's just that if it needs waking up at 5 a.m.
No.
No, I am over that. I still wake up at 4:45. I'm always up when the sun comes out, but still, I just don't do my blinds up and look at the sun. So I'm almost there, but still not there at all.
That's all good.
I think so far I always heard that you should not look at the sun, but I think first time I heard from you that sun gazing is something, right? So
That's a good point.
yeah,
I cover that.
Yeah, actually, true. We were always taught not to
yeah,
look
not
at
to
the
look at.
sun, and it's just harmful,
Yeah,
especially with naked eyes, not to
yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also thought so, and it was always like, if you have to look at, you have to wear glasses or something, But yeah, we'll go there. Prem, how about you?
I, this is Surya Namaskaram is same as this. This is
Surya Namaskar is it's a exercise.
yoga.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's but sun gazing is just gazing at the sun.
just looking at. Okay,
Mm.
yeah, I heard about a lot, but I didn't do it. But I
Mm.
did a lot of Surya Namaskaram
Yeah,
for quite some time.
yeah. Surya Namaskars are wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool. How about you,
I,
Ritika?
yeah, so I heard it first time from you, of course. And I was like, wow, doing search, couldn't find much. But what I remember was like her mom would say, like in the morning, in its Indian tradition, you give the water to sun and you look through that water rays. So
Mm.
I think it's more hidden because there is a concept that it's harmful. And I think when I looked deep after you told me that it's the afternoon sun which starts getting more and more harmful and more UV rays. In fact, they say in Vastu that close your blinds towards north south direction where the afternoon sun comes. Morning and evening suns are really good. So like you said, it's the first hour of sun which is very soothing. And since you said, I started doing it and I really enjoy if I have sun in Pacific Grove, of course. uh,
Uh-huh.
and it's like forming friendship with sun, and I do feel some change. I have not felt miraculous experience like you, but I have felt really, I even while doing, I felt like energy coming in me.
Yeah.
So and I see my life changing. I see a kind of fame getting, which I don't think I deserve at this point, but it's like, wow, maybe this is the power of sun, right?
Yeah.
Making you shine.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, you're so right on. Yeah, so well, that's true. So like everybody, I also did not know anything about sun gazing for many, many years ago. I was starting to explore spirituality and reading books and everything around 2012. That's when I started, and actually started with law of attraction and started because I did not had a work permit and I was not able to work, and that was my biggest pain in my life at that time. But I want to be independent, and it's been 10 years and I cannot work. I'm frustrated with life. So as I started resolving that, and certain things started coming my way, in terms of spirituality and everything, and I was very open minded and I was exploring whatever comes and I would read it. So I had there was this app called there was this app where people used to meet up sort of thing, and I joined this thing, hiking with a stranger, and this guy was visiting from India, and I checked his profile. He was doing some yoga international day. He was a speaker for that or something, and he was doing something. And I was like, oh, he's into yoga, and maybe I learned something about yoga. So I paired up to do a hike with him, and I picked him up, took him on Mission Peak, um, uh, and uh, And on the way, I was like, do I need to bring a yoga mat or something? And he was like, no, you don't need to bring anything. We'll just talk, we'll just chat, and we'll see how it goes. And we were like, okay, cool. And while we were hiking, there were many topics we started talking about, and books and other things. And he went into sun gazing, and he told me that he was doing some research with Harvard on the effects of sun on our eyes, and kind of like, and they were doing some study on him, and he was part of that research project. And it got me curious, and he said, I've created a page and I'll send you resources, but check it out. And he was talking about melatonin and serotonin and all the hormones that are produced in a body, and how they are the happiness hormones, dopamine and other things, and how our body rhythms are controlled with the rise of sun and the sunset of sun. And if we live according to those rhythms of sun, wake up with the sun, do sun gazing in the morning, and then go through our day and sleep by the sunset, or at least shut down other things, there's an impact. And our I think it's called circadian rhythm or something like that. And our body and everything, emotions, other things start to get into the flow of things, and we are in flow with nature, and it becomes more easy and harmonious. And there were many other things he was talking about. It was a new topic for me, and I was curious student, and I was like, okay. And he also, at the same time, we were talking about many books, and he gave me a reference of this book. He said, oh, have you read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari? And Robin Sharma, and you should definitely read this. So went back home, and took all the resources. There is this guy in India. I'm forgetting his name. I actually wrote about him in the blog. Let me see. Um, so what was his name? Hira Ratan Manik. Yeah. So Hira Ratan Manik, he's now 84 years old, and there were books about him, and there was his website also. And I've linked all those resources on the blog that I posted right here. So Ratan Manik, and this is solarhealing.com, and this is a guy. And I went through this website and did a lot of research. And then this Surya Yoga, this was the book by Madhukar Soni, the guy who I went with. And he has also documented some of the resources under this in this PDF. And then I watched this documentary, Eat the Sun, The Light Medicine of the Future, and other things. So, as I was learning, I was like, yeah, there is something about the sun. And a lot of references were given into the Hindu culture, where, we wake up in the morning, and our ancestors have been doing it, offering water to the sun and looking at the sun through the water. But a lot of these books and all of the resources I read, they said that you can make a direct contact without the water. Water was because people were waking up late and they had chores in the morning. So if they are doing it like at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m., 2 hours after the sunrise, then it's harmful for your eyes. But if you do it within the 1 hour window of the sunrise and a 1 hour window before the sun sets, it's perfectly safe. And you can check it on your phone, the UV index. Your weather app will show you the UV index, and UV index is usually 0 at that time. Sometimes on cloudy days, or also sometimes it's up to 2 hours it's 0. So I started doing that practice, and he also told me about Surya Namaskar. So I started doing with the Surya Namaskar. I would wake up, do my sun salutations, like 5 or 7, 7 rounds of sun salutations. And then I would stand, and by the time the sun would come up, would just stand, and I did not know what to do. What do I do with the sun gazing? So I used to one thing was I learned from when I was reading and researching, so about connecting with your heart. So join your hands and your thumb. These two thumbs are connected with your heart when you look at the sun. And they say that it creates an electromagnetic circuit of some sort. So I just used to stand here in the same spot where I'm sitting right now, and used to just put my hands together, stand up with bare feet on the ground, open my window. Some people say that it's fine with the glasses or if you're inside a closed door, but I used to open the window. It was summer, but I've done it with both the ways. When it's winter, I don't open my window and I just do it otherwise, and just look at the sun. And initially, when I started doing it, it was really like if the sun is rising slowly, then it was fine. But if the sun is out a little bit, my eyes used to be like squinting and everything. So they say if that happens, just soften your gaze. Like halki si aankhon ko, like you make your eyes little blurry. Like, you can soften your gaze and then look at the sun. And you start doing it slowly. You build your appetite slowly. So you do it for like first days, 5 seconds, see how it feels. Next day, you can increase it by more 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You have to do it slowly to what feels comfortable to you. If it gets, if it's not possible for you to open the eyes or at all in the starting, that's fine. Just keep your eyes closed. Just gently look and then close your eyes. You will be able to see your sun in your vision, like it's right here in front of you. um yeah, so that's when I started just looking and gazing at the sun slowly, and I started liking it. I was like, it had some peaceful calming effect. And I at that time I did not know I can talk to sun, I can do anything. I was just like looking at the sun, and in my mind I was saying Om Surya Namaha, like bow down, like namaste to sun, and hi sun in my mind, whatever. But slowly, I think sun was communicating to me, and I felt that I started communicating to sun. It was like I started feeling the love of sun slowly, gently, and like sun loves us, and sun is giving out its radiance, is sun's love for this planet. And that's the love, in a way, of the light and love of creator as well. And somehow something was in my consciousness starting to shift. And I was in next day I would do it, and I was like, I'm thankful to you. I don't know why I'm saying thank you, but thank you to you for your light. You're the giver of light on this planet and everybody. And the next day I would start to feel more, and then they started, every day was like some connection was going on. And I would look forward to having that sun gazing session every morning. If I had a busy day or I had to rush early in the morning somewhere, I would miss that day. I would be like, oh, I did not meet the sun today. And I was kind of personifying the sun in my mind, you know and I started understanding maybe that's why they used to call Surya Dev. Like in India, we personify almost all the elements of nature, right? So, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense, because maybe there is some sort of a person aspect to it that I'm communicating to and having that dialogue with. And and I think very intuitively what it came to me one day was Gayatri mantra. And I was gazing at the sun and I started doing the Gayatri mantra. um, I did not know the meaning of Gayatri mantra. And I think through some post or something, one day Gayatri mantra came in front of me, and I was curious, I need to learn this mantra, because I've heard, after I got married, my like in-laws used to ask me to do Gayatri mantra puja, but I just used to read like Om Bhur Bhurva Swaha. I never knew the deeper meaning of that mantra. But this time when I was gazing the sun and everything, something awoke in me, and I was like, I want to understand the meaning of this mantra. And I looked up online. I went word by word, what is the meaning of this mantra? And I'll go into the meaning of the mantra after this. But what I did was, I used to stand again in my prayer pose, and I used to do that mantra inside my heart with all my presence, like word by word. And that was my mantra offering to the sun. And Om Bhur Bhurva Swaha, and Tat Savitur. And sometimes when I used to end it, like it comes to that word like Prachodayat, and my hands used to open up, and I was like, enlighten me with knowledge or a light, or whatever. And 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 there was this thing going on. It was, I think I did it for a month or a month and a half, and every day there was some progress with this, and I was all immersed in that experience of doing this, and slowly my heart was starting to open. And I've also read that it has effect on your third eye or a pineal gland. So our pineal glands are calcified through a lot of various reasons. When we are born, it's perfectly fine, but they say like environment, fluoride, toothpaste fluoride, or the water has also fluoride, and all of those things, and chemicals in our food, and pesticides and other things, they kind of calcify, like they, you know, like a layer of calcium is deposited on a pineal gland, which is our connection to, it's a sixth sense, you can call. Um, so that gets calcified, but as we do sun gazing, or there are other methods to decalcify pineal gland as well. But sun gazing helps to awaken that pineal gland, your sixth sense, your senses that are connected with nature. Um, and yeah, I totally felt that. And I was like, talking and connecting to the sun and having that dialogue. And it was nothing like I wanted to, in that moment, wanted to manifest anything or do anything. It was just like, I'm here to be with you, sun, and sun is here to be just with me. And I, every time I would feel the rays of light falling on me, was like, I can feel this love coming on me, and I'm absorbing this love. And um, and after a few days, like maybe a month and a half, like every day was a progress in my connection. But one day it happened that I was standing, and I was just so much in joy or in love. And I felt like immense love, immense love that I cannot describe in words. It was like, Sam loves me so much. And it's like I was feeling light in my heart, like elevated emotions, and bliss. There's a, I don't know if bliss is the right word, but I think bliss is the right word. It was like everything is perfect, I don't care about anything, and this is just perfect. I'm so honored that you're loving me. And uh, and in that joy, there was so much of joy I was feeling, love I was feeling, bliss. And it was like I was starting to cry out of that, just looking at the sun. And it the moment, maybe initially I was maybe trying to do it like maybe till 1 minute or 2 minutes was my capacity when I reached there. But at that time it was like everything just got frozen, and I did not know how much time it was. Maybe another 1 minute or so, but for me it felt like a long time, like I'm in there, in that feeling, in that bliss. And and somehow everything in my garden, in the trees and the mountains, they all became very awake, in the sense, in my own consciousness, was like everything is so beautiful, this whole nature is so beautiful. The creator has created everything for us, and I was understanding the the place that we have, like we are very small part of this nature. And there was something, telepathically going on with, like, sun was trying to show me all of this, and I was Im- like immersed in that experience of experiencing this. So yeah, so I had that very profound experience. And and I was working at that time, and and it was not like COVID, we were at home. So after the session I was like, oh, what time is it? Okay, 7 o'clock, I have to go to work. And kids were waking up and they had to go to school. So I was like, I don't want to do anything, I want to just sit here and enjoy that bliss some more. But I was like, no, I have to do things. Okay, get off from here. And then I started, like, I was like floating on cloud nine and feeling light and happy and everything, and did not care about anything. But I was doing things for the heck of doing things. I went to shower, I made breakfast, kids were dropped off by my husband, and I was like, la la la, in my own land. And got ready for work. And I was like, okay, 9 o'clock, I had to reach office. And I started driving. And I was in so much of joy. I was like, aaj pata nahi kaam kaise hoga, but I'll go. So, and while I was in the drive, it was like, this, even on the highway, the wild grass on the side of the highway was so magical to me. I was like, yaar, ye to bahut hi khoobsurat hai. Like, look at this, that even a grass blade has been made with a purpose. There is a design to it, and there's a, even the wildflowers growing, like how beautiful the nature is, and everything has been placed so perfectly. Like God is such a beautiful artist. And and I was in love with that nature element. And soon I started noticing there are cars going by, and I started looking into the cars like with purpose. Who's this person driving? That person is so beautiful. This person is so beautiful. And I was falling in love with everybody who was just crossing by. And I'm like, well, you to bahut hi weird hai. Like, I don't know them. And on a red light, I stopped, and there was this woman, this lady in a car next to me, and she was really like a chubby, fat lady. And I was like, oh my God, she's so cute. And I'm like just admiring her from distance, like, silent admirer, stalker. I don't know what to say. But I was looking at her, and I was like, she is so beautiful. And वो अपनी दुनिया में कहीं खोई हुई थी, like she was lost in her own world and waiting for the red light to go green. And in that moment, I just fell in love with her. I was like, oh my God, she doesn't know how beautiful she is. She doesn't know like how much I love her so much. So, and everybody loves her so much. And she could be my sister, she could be my mom. If she's my mom, she's so nice, she's like loving to me. If she's my sister, I love her like we have a sister relationship. If she's my wife, I love her like, oh my God, I would love her as my wife. Or if she's my coworker, I would love her, and I would love her in every aspect of it. And I was just so involved in that 1 minute of gaze towards her that I was in love with her. And she looked at me, and she was like, why is she looking at me? And then she again got conscious, and she again looked at me. She was still looking at me. And I was like, oh man, I'm weirding her out. Okay. मैं सामने देखती हूँ. But I was in love with her, and I would like, okay, देखूं नहीं देखूं. There was a funny thing going on within us for 2 minutes. And then I was like, okay, no, I need to move away. And then there was this somebody like a crow or something, some bird in the bush, and I was in love with that bush and bird and everything. The next red light I stopped, there was a homeless person crossing by a road, and I was like, he's so nice, he's chosen freedom in this life. And that's why, and that's cool. What's wrong with this? Like, I used to be so judgy, like these people don't want to work, but he's free and he can do whatever he wants. God gives him food, that's all he needs. He doesn't care about proving people the social status or anything. Man, this is cool. This is cool. Everything is cool. I reached work, and there was my coworker, and maybe Arun would remember. So and she was going through something in the morning, and she was like, oh, this that, and she was complaining me about something, and I was like, oh man, I started giving her gyan, like, oh, come on, just let it go. What big deal about it? Look at the beautiful day outside our window. I used to have such a nice spot where I used to see planes flying and landing and taking off. So I was like, man, we got the best spot in the whole office. We got the best view. We need to be. And she was like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're not participating in my whining. But she was like, something different about your energy today, man. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm on a high today. So yeah, it was like a high. It was like a high of another kind, and it was very, very nice. And everything was like if I was wishing for some chocolates or something like sweet tooth, and somebody brought it to me in for 20 minutes, and somebody was there in office and like, hey, I got chocolates, do you want something? And I was like, you know what, I just wished for chocolates, and it happened. And the day after, my manager got me like a whole big bouquet of flowers, like a gratitude something. She said, oh, like a thank you note, like you are appreciated. And I'm like, huh, this is nice. And like 1 week, everything was just automatically flowing. And I was on a high of in love with life. And I was like, what is this? But what it was that opening of my heart. I think like when we learned into these chakras, and we were learning about each center, I think that was a point when I reached my heart center the first time. Or maybe I don't know, maybe I must have reached it many times, but I felt that was opened, like heart was open. And uh, and uh, and later on I read about oneness and other things. And I was like, well, that was my first experience of oneness. It was because it was when I felt one with everything, one with nature, one with people, one with like, everything. So and it is nothing woo woo. It was very uh, heart opening, and it was like all internal stuff. Nobody had to do outside. And I've seen that when you are in that high, and the world around you just changes, and you meet people who are also on high. You attract more of things easily. It's like you're operating from your heart energy, and that was the first experience of it. Yep, so that's that. um Anything else that I would want to cover? Yeah, I would want to go into, okay, first let's take a break and tell me if you have any questions or any comments. Let me grab my water also quickly. All right. Yeah. Any questions? Anything? I want to go next into the Gayatri mantra because I wanted to talk about like what does each word mean? What did I understand? But later.
If you go to Gayatri Mantra, this has been a conflict in my mind. I have so many people talk about chanting it loudly, chanting Gayatri Mantra properly, and but then there is another aspect where people talk a lot about that how our tongue is a fire element. So whatever comes from it bursts. So they say chant inside, not outside. Never talk about your achievements. Never talk about your future things. I mean, I don't know. Like we love talking about things, right? Like, oh, this is my future plan. This like the hindrance will start coming. So they say don't say things about your past or whatever. And even the mantras. It was a video I heard from a woman, and also about that same mantra inside, not outside. But the fact is, in our Hindu culture, mantras are chanted so loudly by group of pandits. So, uh, what do you know about this? Chanting or no chanting?
Uh, yeah, there is a lot of do's and don'ts in this whole community. I have a lot of people saying um, that I talk about my spiritual experiences, and I have close friends or people who are much more enlightened. They say you should never talk about your experiences, because the moment you start sharing your experiences, you will not have those experiences. And Indian gurus also talk about it कि आपके जो भी mystical experiences होते हैं, keep them inside. But I feel is that these are um, there are reasons why they say so, because sometimes first I'll go this and then I'll go into the chanting part. So when we don't understand our experience and we talk it without that knowledge, then we are giving out mixed signals, right? And then, or we are sometimes talking about the experience to gain validation from somebody else. Then that's not good. So there are reasons. So I would say is your intuition is your guide all the time. If you feel like doing it, ask yourself why, how, what, and it's okay. Chanting or no chanting is also the same. Chanting is good. Yeah, mantras have vibrations and sounds, and it is good. Sometimes you want to go it internal and do it, and that's fine too. I have done it both the ways. I initially started chanting with the Mahamrityunjay mantra in 2013. With my mom was super sick, and there was no. I was here in US, and my only thing my brother told me was that the Pandit has told Mahamrityunjay part for her. And I did not know what I can do sitting here in this country for her. So at that time, I was not, it was 2013, way earlier than all of this. So I started with the Mahamrityunjay. I learned the meaning of it and I started doing it. And that was my first experience with any sort of mantra. I started doing it internally, first externally, because wo recitation hi meko initially first time when I'm starting, it was tricky. And I tell you, that is, I feel, in when I started doing those Mahamrityunjay mantras, like when I had something gears moving in shifting towards this path. So yeah, there's no right or wrong way. And there are times when I'm doing the sun gazing that I go internally and do one word by word by word. And then there are times when I do sun gazing and I will say out loud because I just feel like saying out loud to sun. If I have people around me, I don't want to say it out loud or get their attention, then I'll just go internally. So there's no right or wrong way. I hope that answered.
Hey, hi, Sarika.
Hi, Arun.
Yeah, I find it hard. Like it's been I've been waking up after 7 a.m. like for most of the last few years. So what is the time window in the morning? I think I get opportunity in the evening, but I'm just curious, like what is your recommended time window in Bay Area, or I don't know if it changes from location to location, or yeah.
Yeah, so I'm on my weather app. Give me 1 second. So now, right now, the UV index is 2, which is still low, but it is 2. So anything 1 and below is good. 0, it's like, I think up till 8 a.m., it may be until 0. So always check your weather app on your phone and say UV index right now in your location. So 0 is perfect. There's no harm. Do it during that time. 1 hour window is good. So 7 a.m., when you wake up right at that time, open your blinds and just stand and do it at that time. And yeah, check UV index.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, and I think if mornings are difficult and if you miss that window because of schedule, try to make it in the evening. Yeah, evening, I think after 5, 6-ish, it should be fine. But oh yeah, always check the UV index.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Let's go into the Gayatri mantra. So how many of you have heard, or I'm sure everybody has heard this, right? There must not be anybody who has not heard it. Prem, have you heard the Gayatri mantra before?
Heard about it, yes, but I have not chanted or anything.
Got it. Okay. So they do say that the words and the vibrations have impact. So it's important to learn the correct pronunciation if you're saying it out loud. But if you're not, and if you're starting out, always says like, sorry, I tried to do the best I did. And that's fine. And there's no right or wrong. But yeah, try your best to learn the meaning. So I'll read it out loud once, and then I'll go into the word by word meaning. Right? So Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. So Om is the sound of the universal sound of universal absolute. Some say Om is the sound of God, right? So it's that Om, and we are invoking the universe through that sound. Om. Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Now there is 3 words in it. Bhur. So, and there are different meanings online if you go. So I would say, is this what I'm telling is my interpretation, and feel free to research online, and your own experience will give you your own interpretation. I have heard like people say Bhur Bhuva Swaha is past, present, future. Bhur Bhuva Swaha is fire, earth, fire, and one more element, water. So Bhur is earth. Bhur is earth for sure in Sanskrit. Bhuva is um, water, and Swaha is fire, right? Swaha when we do in the Agni. So what I at that time when I learned the meaning of the mantra, I came across the meaning was Bhur, earth, Bhuva is beyond earth, and then Swaha is the whole universe, the whole Brahman. So, and that's how when I used to do it, I used to say Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So that's how I used to imagine in my mind. Tatsa Vitur Vareniyam. That thing, that wealth, that knowledge. So wealth is what? Knowledge or truth. Savitur Vareniyam, जो वरण करने योग्य knowledge है. So the wealth or knowledge that is worthy of adoption. So we are talking to God that, oh God, on earth, outside earth and beyond, in everything, that knowledge that is worthy of adoption, O divine creator. So Bhargo Devasya. Bhargo is everything. Devasya is Dev, God. So, oh God of everything, right? Dhimani, like pay attention on me. So divine creator, stimulate our intellect and bestow upon us this true knowledge. So we are talking to that God. Dhiyo yonah prachodayat. Because once I imbibe that knowledge, I will shine like a sun, radiate my light like a sun. So yeah, so enlighten my consciousness. What is this? Yeah, so that is the meaning of it. So Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. O God, O universe, whatever you want to call, like what that knowledge that is of prime importance on earth plane, on ether's plane, and in the whole universe, that truth, enlighten me with that truth, bestow that knowledge upon me so I can radiate or enlighten my consciousness, so to say. Yeah, does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I've done this mantra so many times, but this is the first time I'm understanding the meaning.
Yeah. I did it too
Same.
many times, like read it as
Yeah.
a this thing, but never knew the meaning. And this was the first time I understood the meaning of it.
So wonderful. Thank you.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, it's strange. I don't associate myself with a lot of things, but this is one thing that I don't know why, but my son is 12 now. When he was born and I used to put him to sleep, I would carry him. It would sometimes take 45 minutes, 1 hour. I would be carrying him and I would be just saying this mantra till date. Every night when my kids go to bed, this is the mantra that we speak as a good night thing. And I don't know why. It's never that it was done something when I was being brought up. But and I don't know why I picked it up, but it's been with me. This one mantra has been with me forever. And
Yeah.
strange, I never ever looked into the meaning, but I somehow felt connected. I don't know.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, and there these are I think we have a lot of information in us, in our genes. Like we are carrying all the information in us from our
Mm,
past, from our ancestors, from everything. And
mm,
we don't know it consciously, but it's just there. And when we
yeah.
come across, or sometimes, so like you're just doing it intuitively without,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's the only mantra my son knows. He doesn't understand much of Hindi, but this is one mantra he knows by heart from
yeah.
probably even when I was pregnant, maybe he knows from then because this is just one thing that I connect with. Thank you so much. It feels at home.
Yeah, and teach the meaning of him too. When
Yeah, I will.
and we do it
I
with the
will.
understanding of that meaning, the power
Yes.
increases tenfold. Now,
Yes.
because you're doing it
Mm,
with the consciousness, now you're talking to
mm,
consciousness of that month.
right.
You are saying all those things, understanding, enlighten me with knowledge,
Yes.
bless me with this.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, so that's all I have. And I was thinking that maybe for next month, challenge is we can choose this. Try to do sun gazing, find a spot. There is no, I put 25 days challenge is like our brain, the new neural connections in our brain get strengthened if we do it for 25 days. And this is something that you'll remember as a memory long term. But do the best that you can, whatever you can, whatever your schedule allows. If we all make a commitment that, yeah, I will do it, I mean, we can totally do it, right? So experiment with everything that comes. Do not take anybody's word for anything, like, and find your own truth. They say that the difference between Buddha and Bodhisattva was Buddha went to different places, learned different things, and he applied all of those things. He tested those things by himself, and he gained enlightenment. And anybody can gain enlightenment. It's like, but bodhisattvas or all his janta who was there they were there to hear what Buddha has to say. But Buddha said, no, you go practice these things and do and apply, and you can also become Buddha. And there are many Buddhas after him who became Buddhas. So anybody can become Buddha. Yeah. All right. What else?
I have one challenge for this challenge. I don't get sun for 21 days.
I know you need to move closer to me.
I would love to. Even 10 days is like, because I keep hearing 21 days if you do continuously, I'm like, okay, that's not happening.
Come on. I've heard Carmel has very beautiful sunsets.
Carmel, yes. Carmel, if I go drive, yes. Carmel Valley Village is sunny than Pacific Grove.
The Pacific Grove beach also has nice sunsets, I feel.
I do morning. I don't do sunset normally because so much is happening. I love the morning time. And yeah, but even we may not have sun every day. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, right.
UK is so bad for that. We hardly get any sun.
I see it this way, that whichever day I get it, I do it. That's it. I still pray. I still stand up. I know the sun is still there.
Yeah.
So right. I believe in sun, worship now since, so if you offer the water, just do it every day. It doesn't matter sun is visible or not.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's not visible, but it's there. Yeah.
It's there.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes. You don't have to wait for sun. Internally, behind the cloud sun is there. Just do the Gayatri mantra offering to the sun every day. Just that will also work.
How many times I've had to open a fast because never see moon on Karwa Chauth. So I just have to assume that it's there, because otherwise I'll just not survive.
Behind the clouds, moon is there. Husband, you're fine. Oh, wonderful. Amazing. All right.
Thank you, Sarika.
All right, thanks, guys.
I've been wondering, without knowing the meaning, without knowing anything, it's so just marvelous how you came across this and then you searched it up, and then it's so related to probably asking sun for this. It's just so wonderful.
I have understood one thing is that everything is placed in your path. They are like, look here, do this when the time is meant. So it's nothing like now looking back, I know that I have not done anything. It was placed in my path. Look here, do this, see that. Every post that we see on our phones that inspire us, leads us, all the impulse things that we do, like sometimes some things I want to do, I'll procrastinate on it for years, but there are things that will come up and I'll say, no, I'm signing it up for right now. I don't know if I'll get a chance. I don't want to miss this. So I just feel that there are no coincidences. There's nothing. Everything is planned on a higher level for all of us somewhere down the line. Even all of us in this room having this conversation has been orchestrated somewhere else, and we're just participating in it. So just go with the flow of everything. Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I think when you are at the state of surrender, or you're not fighting, you just give up and let things come in your way. Like, what's the word? Surrender is one word, and there's one more, whatever it is, you just accept it. I think when you are in humility and not fighting or resisting, things come more easily. So I think that's why probably you got it more easily, like intuitively. I had to learn my way, and I had to learn about surrender, and like how you talk about the mystical experience. And I know I got it too. And I was driving too. I think driving is very important, guys.
We are in alpha state in driving. Yeah. Mind is in an alpha state, more creative.
Yeah. And it was 6 a.m. I remember, and I got this beautiful experience. And I looked back, how did that happen? Literally, I'm reading, and a friend gave me a book to, just like that, gifted a book. And I was like, oh my God, chapter 2. And I'm like, it talked about surrender. I think when we come to the state of surrender, gratitude, and that's exactly where I was. I was in a tough phase in life, and I was like, okay, life is not as I planned. It's okay. Whatever it is, it's good. I'm starting fresh. It's going to go. I'm grateful this has happened. And literally seconds after that, I had that beautiful experience, like you mentioned, like where your hat expanded. I'm like, wow, like literally out of body. And it took me time to realize how did I get it and why don't I get it again? And it was that surrender. And I think surrender and gratitude is such a beautiful combination. I think that did it for me. I mean, that's what I think. You probably surrendered and you let things come. You were not resisting.
Yeah, I was on that path of gratitude. My surrender is very different now, and from that time but yeah, I think now it's the state like, yeah, life is easy for us, our thoughts make it difficult. Like, if we just let go of that, our interpretation of the situation, and say, let's see how this unfolds, right? Like right now it is this, oh my god, whatever the drama is going on, how will it unfold? And okay, it's happening. It's like a show. We are all part of, like, we are a part, a role, a character in a drama. That's what. And when you become conscious that, oh, I'm aware that I'm a character in this and I have to play this part, let me see what does the next scene brings. And there is some sort of release tension in that. It's like, okay, it will unfold the way it is supposed to unfold, and wherever this flow takes me, I'm excited to see what's next around the corner. Yeah.
As you were talking, Ritika, so I try to read before I sleep every night. And then um, there have been so many times where whatever I was struggling throughout the day, the chapter that I get to on that night is kind of answering or like guiding me. Like I don't pick the book knowingly. Whatever is in the shelf that I haven't read that I purchased at some point of time is what I pick up, and then it happens to be so related to what's going on in my day-to-day struggles. Yeah, totally with you.
So true. So true. I agree with you.
This is synchronicity. And this is, I've had one book like that any time I open that book, that whatever page I land up onto, reading that page will resonate with the rhythm of my that day. So this is synchronicity, and this is, you are in flow, and this is universe giving you sign about that page or that chapter that opened up. Yeah. Wonderful. Awesome. All right, guys, I think we are towards the close. Any last comments? We'll wrap up. All right. You guys take care. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Sarika.
Thank you. Wonderful
Bye.
session. Take